O ye who wander lost amidst the age of light and reason. Dare you listen to the whispers from sealed crypts, to secrets buried beneath the dust of time in ancient castles long forgotten. In nights as black as ink, when fog blankets the valleys and the moon hangs like a ghostly shard of bone in a sorrowful sky, a fear crept into every corner of Europe's soul, the fear of vampires. But are the tales told and the stories woven through centuries the whole truth? Or are they but veils of mist, hidden curses designed to guard a darkness deeper and more dreadful than we ever imagined? Could it be that behind every legend of bloodthirsty fiends echoes a forgotten reality, a haunting reminder of a world untouched by daylight, a world that exists in parallel, beside us, waiting for the moment to reveal its horrific nature? Tonight, let us cross the threshold between truth and myth, like daring explorers venturing into a forbidden forest. We will not merely uncover, but decipher ancient codes and listen to the mournful cries of spirits imprisoned by time. Do you have the courage to face the final mysteries, the unspoken questions about a creature whose very name can freeze the blood in your veins? Listen well and reflect, for when this story ends, perhaps the shadow of fear shall never leave you again. O thinkers of this modern age, cast your gaze upon the map of ancient fears. As we fixate on the seductive figure of Count Dracula or the grotesque bloodsuckers of Transylvania, we risk overlooking something far more peculiar and far more haunting. The obsession with blood-drinking beings, entities that live by feeding on the demise of others, is not unique to Europe. It is a global phenomenon, a sinister red thread woven into the tapestry of humanity's cultural memory, stretching across the most distant and ancient civilizations. In ancient Mesopotamia, tales were told of Lilitu, a she-demon who drank the blood of infants under the cover of night. In Egypt, the legends spoke of Sekhmet, the lioness goddess driven by bloodlust, sent to annihilate mankind. Among the native tribes of the Americas, the whispers speak of the Wendigo, cannibalistic spirits that drain the life force of men, and the dreaded chupacabra, a beast that feeds on the blood of livestock. Why, I ask you, has this fear emerged and thrived independently, without direct contact across continents and epochs? Could it be that these legends are not the inventions of mere imagination, but fragments of memory, ancient remnants of a time when humanity lived in perpetual shadow, surrounded by threats beyond comprehension? A time before fire, before language, when we huddled in the dark and were hunted by something real. Is it possible that deep within our blood there lies a genetic memory, an inherited echo of a primordial archetype, a monstrous entity or an unspeakable event that once sowed terror so deep it etched itself into our collective unconscious? The oral traditions, the forgotten rites, could they be shards of truth, trying to tell a story we were forced to forget, or made to forget by powers beyond our understanding? And if these memories are real, if this fear was passed down by our most ancient ancestors, then we must ask, who or what planted it in the soul of mankind? And why, after all these centuries, have we still not escaped the lingering shadow of the blood drinker? When we speak of vampires, the name Count Dracula of Transylvania instantly rises in our minds. But is the tale of Vlad the Impaler, known as Vlad the Impaler, the brutal prince of Wallachia, truly the whole story? Historical records often sketch only fragments of the greater picture, leaving vast gaps filled with whispers, forbidden legends, and secrets buried in time. Scattered among ancient monastery archives and handwritten scrolls forgotten in dusty libraries, rare accounts hint at mysterious ties between Vlad's bloodline and secretive orders that have operated from the shadows for centuries. Ancient cults worshipping gods of darkness, blood rituals performed to summon power and immortality. Could it be that Vlad, with his cruel nature and insatiable thirst for blood, was part of this hidden network? Might he have struck a pact with the darkness, exchanging his soul for unnatural dominion and an unholy longevity? The old castles of Transylvania, Bran, Poenari, standing silent amidst the mist-shrouded mountains, may not have been mere fortresses of defense. Perhaps they were ancient energy nexuses, where the veil between life and death thins, where gateways to other realms may still exist. And Count Dracula, was he truly a ruler of the mortal world, or a guardian of a hidden domain? a living incarnation of a curse passed down through generations, biding its time to awaken and reclaim what was once lost. The legends of immortality, of commanding the shadows and beasts, of escaping death's grasp in uncanny ways, are these exaggerations born from fearful minds, or clues to a truth far more supernatural than history dares to acknowledge? Might he have uncovered a forbidden path to transcend nature's laws, and the name Dracula? Is it merely a title, or is it a seal? An eternal mark of a curse that was never meant to be broken? If the curse is real, who placed it, and for what purpose? And more chilling still, can it ever be undone, or does it still linger over that haunted land to this very day? Scientists armed with logic and reason have long sought to explain the phenomenon known as vampirism through rare medical conditions. Porphyria, for instance, with symptoms such as extreme sensitivity to sunlight, elongated-looking teeth, and urine red as blood. Or catalepsy, a disorder where a person falls into a death-like state, heartbeat undetectable, body cold and motionless, only to awaken terrifyingly within their coffin. But are these explanations truly enough to dispel the thick fog of mystery surrounding vampires? Imagine a rare genetic mutation, an evolutionary divergence so extreme that modern medicine has yet to grasp its existence. A life form, not a patient, but a species, capable of extraordinary cellular regeneration, immune to common disease and existing on a biological rhythm utterly alien to humankind. Elongated canines, photosensitive skin, a craving for blood. What if these are not symptoms of illness, but natural traits of a hidden species that walks among us, cloaked from the eyes of science? And what of the so-called supernatural abilities? Strength beyond human limits, inhuman speed, the power to transform into bats or mist, to hypnotize with a mere gaze. Could these be driven by unknown hormones, mysterious enzymes, or bioenergetic forces yet undiscovered by science? Could vampires be not sickly outcasts, but advanced life forms, superior beings that evolved down a different path, one veiled from our comprehension? Stories of the dead rising from their coffins may be explained by catalepsy. But is that the whole truth? Or are they signs of a biological metamorphosis, an enigmatic hibernation phase before a full awakening, emerging with new powers and a transformed essence? If such a life form does exist, how has it managed to remain hidden for thousands of years, eluding the ever-watchful gaze of human civilization? And most chilling of all, what might happen if one day, by accident or design, we awaken them from their ancient slumber? Oh, children of Europe, do you remember the long, cold winter nights when death knocked on every door without reason or mercy? In the 17th and 18th centuries, as plagues swept across the land and mysterious death struck without explanation, villagers whispered of something darker, a being returned from the grave to drink the blood of the living. And this fear, primal, uncontrollable, led to acts as brutal as they were strange, forever etched into the eerie pages of forgotten history. Hundreds, even thousands of graves were exhumed across Eastern Europe. The corpses, believed to be vampires, underwent horrifying rituals. Large stones were forced into their mouths to keep them from biting. Wooden stakes were driven through their hearts. Heads were severed and placed between the legs to confuse and bind the restless dead. These skeletal remains, warped and mutilated, stand as silent witnesses to a time when fear ruled and the dead did not rest easily. But were these acts merely superstition, or were they the remnants of knowledge far older? Methods passed down from a time when humanity truly faced supernatural threats. There are whispers of secret orders who hunted vampires, of warriors of the light who waged a hidden war against the forces of darkness. Could these brutal rituals have been survival tactics, forgotten tools in an ancient conflict between mankind and something inhuman? Ancient monastic records and forbidden manuscripts hint at dark truths, secret rites for identifying, tracking, and destroying the undead, detailed instructions buried in dusty archives protected by fear and fire. Are these not just folklore, but tactical guides, passed down from an age when night itself was the enemy? And if these rituals were effective, what were they protecting us from? What would happen if, in our arrogance and disbelief, we stopped performing them, if we forgot the old ways? Would we unknowingly unlock the gates once more and welcome the return of the undead into a world no longer prepared to fight them? To those who are drawn to the mysterious, do not think that the vampire legends are confined to the mist-shrouded castles of Europe. In the mystical East, where ancient tales are woven from millennia of culture, there exist countless bloodthirsty and malevolent beings, each with their own terrifying methods, often far more cunning and insidious than their Western counterparts. Let us journey into the hidden corners of Eastern darkness. In Vietnam, there is the Ma Tran, not merely a bloodsucker, but a being that drains the life force from its victims, leaving behind withered, lifeless bodies. Even more horrifying is its ability to possess animals, plants, or even inanimate objects to get close to humans, striking silently from where no one expects. In Japan, there is the Nukakubi, creatures whose heads and internal organs detach from their bodies and fly through the night, hunting for fresh blood, while their empty husks remain still and lifeless. And in the Philippines, the dreaded aswang, a shape-shifting monster that preys on pregnant women and newborns, sucking blood through an elongated thread-thin tongue that slithers into wombs in the dead of night. Strangely enough, despite the vast differences in geography and language, these legends share uncanny similarities. The ability to shape-shift, a preference for human blood or life energy, and a terrifying level of intelligence. Could this be more than mere coincidence? Might it be the trace of a hidden network, an ancient alliance among creatures of the dark across the continents? Was there some primordial force that gifted them these abilities? Or are they all offshoots of one original species, scattered across the globe, adapting to local cultures to feed and survive in secrecy? If such an alliance exists, what is its ultimate purpose? Could they be working with the bloodthirsty entities of the West, forming a global shadow network? And if one day this alliance chooses to step out of the shadows, what would become of our world then? Oh, you, the ones enchanted by stories. Look closely at how the monsters of the night have evolved in our time. From grotesque, deformed figures in the Gothic literature of the 18th and 19th centuries, vampires have undergone a breathtaking transformation in modern popular culture. They have become seductive symbols, complex beings torn by inner turmoil, sometimes even tragic heroes. We see them in tearful love stories as rebels against the system, or as cold, powerful beings who mesmerize millions across the globe through movies, television, video games, and literature. But could this romanticization be a cunning trap? By turning our primal fears into objects of admiration, are we unknowingly opening the gates to a true and lurking danger? If vampires are real, and if they have hidden among us for millennia, could this shift in human perception be part of their evolutionary strategy? A calculated move to blend in, to live among us without suspicion, perhaps even with our admiration and desire. Stories of underground vampire societies in major cities, of ancient pacts between humans and creatures of the night to maintain a fragile balance, of complex codes they follow to preserve secrecy. Are these mere fiction? Or are they warning bells we've long ignored, signs that we're living in a world where the line between myth and reality is growing ever thinner? A world where the predator may already be your closest companion. And if the blood drinkers truly walk among us, cloaked in the glamour of pop culture, accepted and even worshipped, what happens when the mask finally falls? Will we realize too late, when they have become an inseparable part of our world and there's no way back? Could this allure be the siren call that ushers in the downfall of humanity itself? So there you have it, dear listeners. We've journeyed deep into the mysteries of the vampire, unveiling shadows you may have never dared to explore. Are they remnants of an ancient past, forgotten biological anomalies, or entities still lurking among us in this modern world, veiled behind our own indifference and fascination? Perhaps as this tale comes to an end, you'll close your laptop, switch on every light in the house, and try to chase away the unease creeping into your mind. But remember this: darkness never truly disappears. It waits. It waits for you to turn away, to drift into sleep, to let your guard down. Because for the creatures of the night, time means nothing. They are patient. They wait. And when you think you're safe, when you believe these stories are nothing more than fiction, listen carefully. The whisper of the wind outside your window. To the echo of footsteps down an empty hallway. To the eyes watching you from the shadows, unblinking, relentless. Because maybe you don't believe in vampires, but perhaps they believe in you. And remember this, the thirst never fades, it only grows stronger.